There is a lot of jealousy in Zimbabwe, and it's actually because of the spirit of witchcraft that runs through the blood. Many people who are jealous, who are very competitive, who are always competing with their siblings, with their cousins, with their friends. It's because they are initiated in witchcraft from they are unconscious witches, and some of them are even conscious. So what happens when people are initiated, when a family has conscious witches, these conscious witches you always initiate many family members through their blood. Anyone born into those families where there's serious idol worship, there's serious rituals that are going on, there's serious witchcraft, Freemasonry, this is passed on to the blood, through the blood. So because when anyone goes to a witch doctor or to a shrine or to a secret society, to like Freemasonry or Illuminati, when they are involved, or when they are Illuminati slaves or monarch butterflies, these are families that are in generational witchcraft. So when they do their rituals, they are made to curse every member of the family. They sell the entire bloodline to this altar, to this secret society, to this idol, such that when other people who knew nothing about that, they are automatically connected to the covenants done by someone. So even if that person who did the rituals dies, the covenant stands, but it just requires a person who activates the ritual. And then for every generation, this thing is ongoing. So in most of these families, a person is born defiled by this, but when they are born, it's in the blood, their blood, they are sold. So unless a person is born from a family where the mother or the father are prayerful and dedicate them to the Lord, they are connected, very much connected to these things. But when you are born from a family where your mother or father or both of them disconnected themselves from the altars, what happens is that you may face challenges when you are born that will be done to make you become sick, particular initiation time, because the initiations for these people born in this bloodline, even though the witchcraft is in the blood, there is need to initiate. So in most cases, whenever you take vaccines, you are open to these demons. Whenever you have something that shocks your body, like vaccines shock the child's body, and then vaccine, the other name for vaccine, the root word is pharmakia, which means witchcraft, which means sorcery. So whenever a child is failing to get initiated, it means every dosage of that, the child gets sick. It's like the spirit of that child is fighting that vaccine. But other children whose spirits are subdued, they don't suffer whenever they are given those things. So even when they go to a witch doctor, they get charms. Whenever they get things, they don't get affected. Their spirits don't fight those things. But these ones who are resisting because they are spiritually gifted, they are the ones who get sick. Even when they come across when something is being done to them, that's how it's like their spirit rises and fight that thing. But for others, there is no warfare because the devil already took over. They are subdued, and the demons of the bloodline are continuing. So you find such children who can easily be subdued. Some of them, you find they get some condition, or they look normal but they are slow. There's something wrong with them, but it's not that. It's like their destiny is already captured. They cannot rise, they cannot go far in life. Or when they reach the age of 12 or 13, which is the age of accountability, if they're in a family which is prayerful, that's when you find efforts whereby the relatives, now the aunts, they'll be making an effort to get them under their roofs, to initiate them, because they know that if this mother and father who are prayerful continue, and the children are not captured, these children will become a problem, because whatever they are praying, whatever they are believing, whenever they are doing well, and they are not under the family limitations, they actually disrupt the evil altars. Their prayers are going to be disrupting the activities of the family altars. So, and also these people who are making money from these altars consciously, they will want those people so badly, so that they subdue them and put them back under limitations. And that's why you notice warfare on these families that are prayerful, it becomes more intense. So to understand more about the type of warfare where you're dealing with the real stubborn demons, you need to read the book of Tobit. It's one of the books that was removed from the 1611 King James Version. It's there in the 1611 King James Version, and which is the original Bible. But now, so for me, that's the only version of the Bible that I buy. So if I get the modern King James Version, I always buy the Apocrypha with that, because it has those books that were removed from the 1611 King James Version. But I want to highlight that the Book of Enoch is not part of those books. The Book of Enoch is not in those books, even though the scriptures refer to that, to those things in Book of Enoch. I'm not saying anything about those, but I'm just talking about the 1611 King James Version. For me, when you're dealing with warfare, where you are prayerful and your family members worshiping idols, involved in sorcery, who are money ritualists, you need to understand the battle, because the book of Tobit speaks about the experiences of people who had such issues, and the pain and the torment and how they need to endure, because every time they are reconnecting you. But if for those children who come from families that are doing these rituals and they are not prayerful, normally they go to churches that don't speak. Most of these ritualists, they actually hide behind churches. Some of them even belong to Pentecostal churches. Actually, some of them belong to those churches like Methodist, Salvation Army, Catholic, where they are no gifts of the Spirit. So they just go to church out of, maybe that's where they meet. I don't know why they even go to church. Some of them go to apostolic sects like Joan Marange, Joan Masowe, the Nyenye Zinomwe, and other funny occultic rituals. Some of them don't even belong to church, and they do these things where they appease the spirits that they call the ancestral spirits. But if most cases, people who go to these traditional churches and who hide that they're in witchcraft, they also believe in these rituals. Like in Zimbabwe, you find there are many people who go to these funny churches, even to these rituals at night, even though they belong to churches that are against culture. And I've noticed in Zimbabwe, many people may believe in church, but they also believe in the traditions, and most of them, that's why they are struggling, because of their tradition. They make the word of God of no effect on their life. Mark 7 verse 13. So but now what happens with every generation, it's like when they are people who are initiated in this consciously, they use the rest of the people as blind witches. These blind witches are people who are so jealous, extremely jealous. They don't want anything to do better than them. They just believe in competition because they are under possession. They don't like anything good happening to another people. They also don't have self-control. they struggle with lust of the flesh. So these people are used now in a family because they are operating under the same spirit of witchcraft which control them through their blood, and they are used by these conscious witches to initiate other people or to steal from other people. So a a blind witch may actually sleep with a person and take something, but they don't know. They're just being used remotely. And then another conscious witch from the family can now take it from them. And this can happen also with blind witches in an area where you live or where you work, where these blind witches can easily be used. It's like also people, most of them are also people who sleep around. They're also people who operate from envy, and they can do anything. They don't want competition. They don't want to be someone to forge ahead of them. Some of them also are into drugs, they're into alcohol, and whenever they drink, they are like the passage through which demons they can go. They're like a highway of demons. So in my case, I wanted to talk about, in my family, if you notice, like Joseph was surrounded, his brothers were like these blind witches who could not stand what God had planned for Joseph, and they tried to divert the destiny. But in the case of Joseph's brother, after they sold him, they got to a point where they repented because they were presented with a chance to repeat this with Benjamin when Joseph tested them, and they were not willing to do the same thing, so they completely repented. But in my case, I was surrounded by people, almost all my siblings. When when your destiny is bright, and when a person who is chosen to break limitations, who is chosen by God, you will find people fighting you. So those people, they just hate you because the spirits operating through them, they are trying to destroy you. So in my family, when I was growing up, I was not close to all of my siblings. I was except one, my brother, my younger brother, who comes after me. But everyone else, I was not close to them, to the point that even when I wanted to get married, my own sister tried to stop my husband from marrying me. She went behind my back. She was not married. And I think maybe the jealousy that I was getting married, and now she was going to be embarrassed because she had been married, and she was not a person with a good reputation. Like in terms of relationships, she had messed up her own life. And now after that, she had these bad friends. Some of them were witches, and one of the friends was actually bewitching her with the help of my brother, because this friend of hers used to be a sister to someone I went to school with. And this lady, the parents were both into witchcraft. The father was a ritualist. So I don't know, this age where people started to be prayerful, started to also join churches that believe in the gifts of the spirit, even though they are occultic. Still those churches opened eyes, because for me, I know if a person is a victim of witchcraft, sometimes God may lead you to these churches to just start to open your eyes. So it's part of your journey, and God can even use these churches to block certain things if you are connected to God and you are not worshipping the church leadership. God can actually protect you and use those resources, those churches, to open your eyes and then to lead you to Him. So for that lady was a friend of my sister. The parents lost everything. The father used to have 3 houses in different cities. And I remember even when I went to see this lady who was because this friend of my sister, who became a friend of my sister, she was this woman who was mentally retarded. She had gotten married, and then after she got married, she was divorced by her husband, but she continued to see him. And she had a child or 2 children who were disabled, and she actually killed one of the children because the child was a liability to her, because she wanted to do prostitution. But this lady went to South Africa and started to work as a maid. But she was close to my brother, the one who was into funny things and hating my sister. So she became close to my sister, and she was the one working to give feedback to my brother. And my sister, I remember asking her, why are you close to this woman who is close to our brother who is trying to kill you? And then I told her, why do you even allow this woman, with the level of education we have and also the life you lived, this woman and you are not even in the same level of there's some people. This lady is a maid, but she's a maid not because of the hardship, but it's like the brain is retarded. There's something wrong with her. And I noticed, like, even the lady who used to go into the same school as me, she was like that. She was so retarded and disabled. These people were so retarded. They had some disabilities, all of those children. So this lady was going to the same school as me. I think she was the youngest, same class as me. And then one of the older sisters was also like, that one was retarded in that she dated her own sister's boyfriend and got pregnant for him. Her own sister was dating someone, and then when they were dating, then she started going after the same man after he broke up with the sister, and she got pregnant for that, and she never got married. And she was like, also she had a disability. Then the other sister got married to a Muslim. She's the only one whose life is stable, but she got herself into deep rituals because the Muslim who married her, is deep in satanic rituals. And because she was already coming from a family of rituals, she was also, and the brothers, I don't even need to talk about them, they are worse. So it's like a whole family of people who are mentally retarded with some disabilities. So that's where this lady, who was a friend of my sister, who was bewitching her and was working with our brother. So one thing that was disturbing about this lady is that, for me, she never got close to me because we couldn't talk, but I knew her sister, but we're not close to the sister. So she never got to know my life completely. But what surprised me is that years later, this lady, when she was a friend of my sister, when she met my husband, she tried to tell my husband that, oh, your wife was so spoiled, your wife is not nice. And my husband, it was like he had visited because we were going through difficulties where I was running mad. And then when he visited, it was like that moment where he went to my sister to seek support. My sister then gave her over to her friend now, who didn't know me, but now the friend was telling him things about me which were not true. But all she knew is that I was my mother's favorite. So she was like, she just hated me, and she was saying lots of things. And then my husband, when he came back, he told me everything that she had said. And I was shocked. How can a person who never met me, who never knew me, because the time when I was growing up, she was still living with her husband. And then the time she came back, the parents had sold all the houses and she was now renting. And then that's how, when she rented close to our house. And that was the first time she was close to our house, when I was already away. My mother was already late and I was not there. But she was speaking like someone who knows me, because even that lady was in the same class as me. She didn't know me. So all the information she was telling me was not information from anyone who knew me, but it was like second-hand information that she got. And I figured she got this information from my brother. Because when they meet in these caverns where there are witches and all, they start to say things, they start to make up lies on why someone needs to die. So this woman was the one connected to my brother. And also I had a friend who was a conscious witch who was also working with my brother to try and destroy me. So that's why you need to be careful. You need to be led by the Spirit, because some people, you can be connected to a person and then your own family member who is failing to bewitch you can actually contract that person that is close to you to work against you. But for me, I don't believe in being afraid of people. Excuse me. But my problem is, My fear, because I don't fear witches completely, which is actually a problem, because even when God was warning me about these people, about cutting out certain people from my life, I was not doing it because I don't fear witchcraft. But because I didn't cut off people when God asked me to cut them off, I suffered extreme witchcraft attacks. I wouldn't have suffered them if I had obeyed the Lord. So we need to get to a point whereby if you are around people, make sure these people are equally yoked. So all my siblings, all of them, I was never close to all of them. The only one who was a bit close to them was the one who comes after me. So in a family, so I never was really close to my siblings was growing up, even though we're in the same house. God protected me and I kept to myself, and that helped me a lot to avoid unnecessary attacks. Because I never used to share with anyone about what the Lord is revealing to me. I never talked. I just kept quiet, and I spent my time in reading books. I also noticed the other group of people who were also being used. When you have family members who are ritual, when you have family members who go to white garment churches, who go even to witch doctors, they are also dangerous in terms of taking your life. They will even be coming, with people from these white garment churches. Most of them are even told that you need to visit this relative of yours, and when you get there, you throw these stones for protection. But these people, they instill fear in people. And some of the white garment church members, they end up bewitching people who are not doing anything to them. But now, because the witch, the leader, the prophet, I quote that, is trying to steal destinies. So he uses the members and people who come to them. He uses them to hunt for stars of people. And then they notice that this person is connected to someone with a higher, with a position or with a star and a destiny that is bright. They can use these people to go and do witchcraft to them, and they give them benefits. We once had like relatives who were not educated, who didn't have ordinary level, but the whole family, they were working for the government. And they were actually using the destinies of other people to work for the government. Can you imagine that level of evil? So those people who were not working, as long as they were not praying to claim their destinies, these ones continued to use their it's like destiny transfer. So it happened for a long time until the Lord revealed to me, and I prayed and I stopped that. And after I stopped that, I noticed the ones who were doing this, they started to avoid me, and they lost everything that they had. They lost their jobs. They were even told that no, they were even given prophecies that no, they can no longer do whatever they were doing for years. So this life, you need to be prayerful. Even if you are going to these churches that are Pentecostal, make sure you don't involve yourself. Disconnect yourself from evil altars. And whilst you're there, ask the Lord for guidance. Don't just leave. If you are to leave, at least pray and be very prayerful. Because some of you come from families where there's extreme witchcraft, such that even by being in these churches, even though they are Pentecostal and charismatic and they are not perfect, even though it's a white garment cult that you are going to, and it's not perfect, and the persons there are not perfect, to some extent you are being protected from a lot of things. Because it's like now you're in a rival cult, you're no longer easy. So all you need to do is to work, ask God to lead you on the next step. Ask God to reveal to you things. Don't just understand, don't just believe everything I say, but ask the Lord to confirm and reveal and guide you. Because when you do that, you can actually use your experience in that church to rise higher and overcome the shortcomings of that church. So don't just be like some people who just hear this and they decide to stop going to church or believing in God, which is actually a problem because they become subdued. So don't just leave the church, but understand the shortcomings and overcome them through the word of God. Have a stronger relationship. Use that church, that opportunity, the advantages of that church. Use them to rise up in the spirit and start to have a deeper connection with the Holy Spirit on your own. So, one thing I noticed for me, I have relatives, it's like there's this mixed thing that happens with people because they can't believe you are doing better than them because they grew up seeing you were growing up under the same condition. Probably you were quiet, you were not as talkative. So when they see your life becoming better than them, most of them, they struggle. So while they also secretly hate you, they hate your success and they gossip about you, they try to bring you down, they even they try to sabotage your relationship, your marriage, because they feel like you are rising too much. So they did that to me. After they did everything, they still want to be close to me because they need help, they need money, they need to ask, because the others, even if they have money, they still want your money because they want to take your blessings, or they feel like you have risen too much, you owe them. And some of them, they even get to a point where they can even try to destroy you after they failed. The same people who look like they have repented, then they start to get close to you, and they get close to you, they still don't like the fact that you are better and that they failed to destroy you. So they continue to secretly plan a way, and they'll be frustrated. So even where reconciliation is possible, you don't need to rush to reconcile, because for me, even when that time came for them, when they were now looking like some of them repented completely and they were supporting me, but the Lord told me that these people, even though they are doing this, please, they don't talk to them, because now the others who are witches and satanists, they are now working through these people. So block any contact, love them from afar, pray for them, don't hate them, but know that these people, they are used by the enemy against you. So I would notice some of them would be close to me, and the only advice they would give me, they're trying to get me to go to witch doctors, they're trying to get me to be desperate like them. And you find a person with their own problems that they cannot resolve, they focus on you so much, and you wonder why they are focused on you, to the point that they are going to these white garment prophets to ask about you, to do rituals, trying to help you. And then you wonder, a person who doesn't have money, who is struggling on their own, who is afflicted by serious bondage, why is the interest on me? The interest is on me because of the star, because for them, they know that you have a brighter star, and also you are better off financially. So they know if you have a breakthrough, because you have limitation, you are the ones who broke the limitation. So in the spiritual realm, you are the one who blocks a lot of things. You are the one who opens the door. You are the one whose star is too bright that if you can just want and break, and when there is a ritualist, you're the only one. You're the one who has power to bring them down because of your calling, because you're like the watchman for their family. But whilst they understand that power, they are going also to ritualists who have ideas about trying to steal your star and do destiny transfer, because they see you and they're like, there's this person who is so blessed. So I want you to call this person and bring them. And the interest for them to bring you is because they are told that this person can either, if you bring this person, I can help you together with this person and you can make money. So some are lied to, or some are, but it's like this person just finds a reason to call you because they want to steal your virtues because of your star and your destiny. This white garment cult of prophet is trying to get you to them. So for me, the Lord told me that you don't need to talk to them. Pray for them, love them, help them. But there were some which I was told, these ones are so hardened, don't even make contact, even if they visit you. But for me, they can't visit me because I just pray and they are. And if they try to come, their things will turn against them and destroy them. So there's that provision where you just pray, you pray protection prayer, and anyone who's trying to do you harm, without you doing anything, whatever they do, it bounces. So for me, I just declare that I just pray that Lord protect me, these people, whatever they are doing. If they have a mission to come and destroy me in person, or they send something, Lord, protect me. That's enough. And for them, if they try to come, they even feel the resistance in the spirit, because I'm not praying for them to die. I'm not being like them. I'm not joining them. And in the end, whatever they are trying to do, they know if they try, because they don't find an open door, it can destroy them. So pray and understand. Stop going to people to tell them your problems. Go and tell God, and keep your dreams to yourself as God communicates to you through dreams. And also be aware that in a family of extreme witchcraft, there are many blind witches. Some don't even know they are witches and that they are used against you. Some may come to you like they are concerned and they are happy for you. They're trying to help. When in fact it's the devil and the spirit of witchcraft in their blood trying to bring you down. So always seek the Lord and don't talk so much to people, even friends, even family. When you are being under attack that is extreme, focus on God and be led by the Spirit of God. The people that you cannot cut contact from are maybe your spouse, but you need to pay attention to what the Holy Spirit says, because there is a lot that goes on. Bye for now.